So here's the kickoff now as he'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. And they will not get a chance to return this one. It's through the back of the end zone for a touchback.
Minnesota's offense takes over possession. But the disparity in this game, it just seems to grow with each possession here, Charles. They are really struggling. They have not put up a single point, and on the other side, the points keep piling up and up and up.
So you know the frustration level has to be rising, right? So they've got to find a way to quell that, because otherwise they certainly won't get anything done in this one. Keep diving deeper into the offensive playbook. The bottom line is don't quit competing.
Drop for a loss of 7 by multiple defenders.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in third and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
Under pressure, they got him again. It's Derek Johnson, the first-round pick back in 05 with a sack. The Vikings send out their punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. It's fielded at the 45. So a change of possession here on the punt.
And they will take over 1st and 10. The NFC about ready to set up shop offensively. Well, partner, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the end zone, and now they'll try to duplicate that success here.
And it's rare for those moments to happen. Incredible when they do. And you saw the celebration. Pure, unbridled joy after that one.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. And the defense loses him. It's complete. And all the way in for the touchdown. Antonio Gates, 53 yards. And the NFC stretching that lead out even a bit further.
I know guys who design defenses, they try to prepare for everything, but you ignore the guy who plays tight end at your own peril.
Yeah, and he's like having another wide receiver out there sometimes, right?
Exactly right, because they're such a matchup nightmare, and they're hybrid guys. Are they receivers? Are they big guys that block? How about the one we just saw there? Catch it and go. Run after catch all the way into the end zone.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
This is taken just shy of the 10. And good coverage there on special teams as they'll get him down shy of the 20.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
Well, this has been a tough one for them, Charles. They've struggled really on both sides of the football. And one thing that's really plagued them, the turnovers. They've had issues keeping the football in their possession.
And every game that's ever been played, all coaches talk about taking care of the football and limiting turnovers. And in this one, after we saw that first turnover, we worried that things would snowball.
Welcome back now here in London. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair. Now on 2nd and 13. Burrow. And that is going to be incomplete as he led him a bit too much. The Vikings on 3rd down. It has been a disaster. 0 for 8 thus far. This is going to be 3rd and 13.
Now Burrow loses the football.
And fortunately, he's able to reel it back in, but it's going to go down as a big loss here on the play. Dangerous spot for them to cough it up. Lucky to have recovered, because had the defense gotten it, they were already within a shadow of the goalpost.
Yeah, and then you're yelling at your own defense. Sudden change, sudden change. That's not what you want to hear on your sideline. That means you got to run out there and try and stop an offense who has the ball in a very advantageous position.
And he'll cross over out of bounds right at the 25. Great blocking on the return. It springs him for 25. And out will come the offense as they take over.
On play action, Lawrence.
That's going to be caught. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Well, when coaches come into a game preaching total team effort, CD, I think this is the type of ball game that they're dreaming of. It was pretty apparent early on that they were clicking in all three phases. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes in the NFL you end up with matchups like we've been watching here. And when you go back to the early drives, you can just see that one squad was on a different level in this game. Safe to say, we have been disappointed watching their execution throughout this contest.
They'll look to throw, and they are just not going to let up as he is into the end zone here for 2 more.
Personally, I'd rather see him kick the extra point there than to go for 2, but it almost feels like there's a story within the story here. I mean, this isn't college. You know, size and victory, that matters in those games. Here, all you have to do is win by 1 point. That's all that you need. Instead, they go for it, get 2. You got some pretty ticked-off folks on the other sideline now.
And he will be brought down here inside the 20. Good coverage as he's dropped at the 17. And the football going back to the Vikings offense.
Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
Now on 2nd and 16, Burrow. And this turns into disaster. He's not going to get forward progress. That'll be a safety. Things are just going from bad to worse now. It's a safety that does him in here, and that is one frustrated offensive unit.
They can't get out from under their own shadow right now. I mean, I know this is the NFL, but could you imagine a college crowd right now? Imagine what they'd be doing. They'd be chanting, "Start the bus," because they think this one is over.
And he will take this one all the way back inside the 35-yard line.
Forget the idea of flipping the field. They have now put themselves in a position to score points with that big-time return.
Now here's a pass on 1st down that's knocked away and incomplete.
But their passing attack, even though that one was incomplete, has been really sharp in this one. It's resulted in a lot of touchdowns, and it looks like they're not going to stop throwing the football until the very end of this one.
Well, that will certainly make everyone involved on offense.
And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Well, where our booth is here, we can see all of the writers to our left, and their post-game stories, Charles, they have been filed for some time because this game, boy, is it lopsided.
Yeah, we can see our guy Scoop. He's even got his fedora tipped over his face. I think he's taking a nap now. Nothing left to write for him, but how gratifying has it been for them to see what they've done in practice and carry it into a game and see the execution be so good. They've got to feel fantastic about what they've accomplished in this one.
And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And they're going to start in a hole as he's brought down at the 11. The Vikings ready to go again on offense. At this point, partner, things looking pretty bleak. They still haven't scored here in the 4th quarter, facing the big deficit. What silver linings, what can they look to do here offensively?
You know, it's funny, I talked about this with a coach in the offseason and kind of had this scenario, like, what feels good to you? What feels good to your team? You're down big. You really have, like, 1 possession left, and you're trying to put points on the board that don't matter. But do they? And he told me they actually do matter. And in this situation, he's going to try and run the best offense he can run, have at least a little bit of confidence to take away from that game. So right now, they're going to try their best to get something up on the board and not get shut out.
And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
He'll take it a few steps in front of the 50. A very good return there. Give him an even 20 yards.
And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. Here now the NFC to take over on offense. Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard, but they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives, and I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continuing to pull it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate. But we'll see what they decide to do as they come out with this one. But the way this game has gone, they've got to be awfully happy with their execution overall.
And boy, talk about adding insult to injury. He's into the end zone to tack on 2 more. And around the goal line, especially on 2-point tries, sometimes the QB's best friend is that big target, the tight end.
I love how you described it because you know he's going to have some length and some catch radius as well as a big body to keep people away from the football.
The NFC kickoff team out there, and they send this one away.
From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And not a good return here at all as they'll be forced to start at the 12-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
Now Burrow loses the football.
And it's scooped up by the NFC. And it won't count for 6. He's brought down, but inside the 5, first and goal at the 4-yard line. Well, they probably don't need to run a play here, but you wonder if they're going to be able to resist on first and goal. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
But not much defensive resistance on that drive. And really, Charles, the way this offense has been humming, they haven't faced much defensive resistance the entire game.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that one team, their defense did not wake up and make it to the stadium for this one. There may be some major changes on that side of the ball when we see them the next time out.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away.
This fielded right at the goal line. And they're going to start in a hole as he's brought down at the 11.
And now out comes Minnesota.
I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the fourth quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of
looking for Johnson, and it's intercepted. And they're going to take over right there at the 22-yard line. Yet another mistake after the interception there. And, gosh, you look up at the scoreboard, they just got to be thinking this one cannot get over fast enough.
It certainly can't. And also what happens when you get this big of a deficit.
And give them another 6. It's caught for a touchdown, and the blowout continues.
Well, he's regarded as one of the best athletes among NFL tight ends, Charles, and it certainly was on display right there.
And as we've seen this league continue to grow and develop, I think the tight end position is becoming harder and harder to defend because now it's elite athletes playing that position, not just the big guys who can block. How about his ability to get downfield and make plays against any defense?
The NFC set to kick off as this one's away.
From a yard or 2 deep, here comes a return. And they're going to start in a hole as he's brought down at the 11.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover. They want to try and put points on the board.
In trouble, and the ball's out. It's in the end zone loose. And this will be gathered up in the end zone, and that's a defensive touchdown. Once that ball was loose, the question was, would this be 2 or would it be 6? It's 6. The defense able to pounce on it.
And for the offense, the training didn't really kick in, did it? Once that ball comes loose, you got to get on it, make sure that you recover it, or make sure you punch it out of the end zone. Anything but give it to the defense to score a touchdown.
And you can bet they're preaching 2 hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return.
This taken in at the goal line. The Vikings head out to take over once again.
And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here, but you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on.
That's into a crowd and intercepted. Jair Elam makes a pick.
And he's going to bring this one back for an NFC touchdown.
And not only is his defense pitching a shutout, now they're contributing points themselves. I mean, they have really put together what's almost been a perfect effort here in this one.
I love how you express that. They've absolutely exceeded expectations in this one. And even better than their play, it's been their effort. Even with the win in their back pocket already, every one of those guys is still out there fighting like it's a tie game.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away.
Taken at the goal line. And they're going to start in a hole as he's brought down at the 11. Joe Burrow trots out again with the rest of his offense.
Interesting stat line right now. Technically, he's completed 4 passes, 2 to his team and then 2 to the wrong team.
It makes you wonder what he's seeing downfield because he has completed 2 passes to his own team, but the interceptions are
Now Burrow loses the football.
And the offense does cover this one, but back inside their own 5-yard line. So celebration down on the field for a good, hard-fought victory here. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one. And that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time.